Hi everybody, it is Maree here from Skeinz and you're with the Skeinz Diaries. It is episode 11, Monday the 22nd of June, and today is actually my younger brother's birthday, 45 today he is. Happy birthday to Stuart. He'll hate me saying that because he's the sort of guy that doesn't have his birthday on his Facebook so no one knows it's his birthday, so it's up to his sister to, right, royally embarrass him because that's what we do. So happy birthday to him. And I'm literally sitting here madly knitting around on the round on my Goldwing to show you, so I can actually get the needles in just a better place so I can show you what I am up to this morning. I've got loads to talk about today. It has been, while I'm doing this, I'll just chat, shall we? Lots to talk about this morning. I don't know about you guys over the weekend, but I have got, there we go, that's better. I have a confession to make. I've got this huge, Sunday is usually my do the laundry day. Like, I do the laundry, but it's my big foldy day. I like to get a big lot of folding together and then do it all in one fell swoop. And I got so into the Goldwing yesterday that I didn't do it. It's all still sitting there, and it was raining and it was just ick. And I thought, oh no, I'm gonna actually sit here and drink coffee and knit because it's a much nicer thing to do. So that's what I did, and boy did I make some progress. So I'll show you this. Sorry, I just wanted to get that round to the bottom. So I have finished the colour work. Look at that. I'm delighted with it. I'm really delighted with it because I got a full spectrum of the full rainbow spectrum into the colour work. So I started with the red, down here finished with the purple, and honestly, actually, and I'll show it to you because I've got it here. Where did I put it in my magical bag? I've got bags everywhere here. So this is what I had salvaged. If you'd watched the Quarantine Diaries, you'll know this. I had this wall of County. I'd played around with it, and I thought I might have made an Aranami shawl with it. So I'd started doing some sort of waves, and then I thought, oh, no, I won't do an Aranami. Sorry, I'm sitting very awkwardly here, and I'm just, my back's a bit, so I might just sit back a bit, shall we? Get myself comfortable. I thought I would do that. There we go. There we go. Too old, I tell you. Right, so I thought I'd do that, and I'd sort of started with a bit of an Aranami, and I'd done sort of a whole bunch of scallop wedges, and then it just sat there, and it was, to be honest with you, it was just to do some knitting of one afternoon, and it had been sitting in my stash sort of cupboard for months, and the way I'd done it is I'd done a sort of a wave and then just picked up the stitches, so I hadn't broken the yarn at any point in the knitting at all. So when I decided that I was going to do the Goldwing, and I thought, oh, actually I might need all of that yarn, I just unraveled it, and then of course it looked like 2-minute noodles by the time I unraveled it. So then I just soaked it and have just popped it on the hank here. So what I've got left on my main ball, as you can see, there's the purple there heading back into the red. Absolutely thrilled. And as you can see from the inside there, because I'd knitted from the inside out, that was there's the orange there, which of course connects into this orange here. So I have one full rainbow spectrum still left within this ball. So that's what I've got left for the sleeves. So any desire I had to have completely matching rainbow sleeves, yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But actually, to be honest with you, I'm not really that phased about it. I really am not that phased about it. I will, and looking at the pattern, it doesn't look like they're going to take a huge amount of yarn for the sleeves. So there's a very good likelihood that I'll actually get the sleeves out of this, which I think I might actually, I'm inclined to do, because that is sort of the purple to red to orange portion is actually quite dark, compared to this portion here, so it will give me the greatest amount of contrast. And you know what, if I have to start, I've still got a bit of orange there, so that's the plan at this stage. And if you're asking how much of this is the complete ball, I think this is probably about a third of the ball. So I've used about 2/3 of the ball, I think, or maybe 60% of the ball so far. So I'll just hold that back up again. So there it is there. And as you can see, I have divided off for my sleeves, and I'm just getting a bit of the body. I like to get sort of about 10 centimeters of the body done, and then I might actually go and pick up for the sleeves, and I'm going to start working on the sleeves. I did this with my Rambler. It just helps me get my sleeves fitted in the right length. And it also means that they don't go into Sleeve Island either. I am of two minds. I have been of two minds whether or not I do this as a long-sleeved sweater, if I'm brutally honest. I think I will, but again, you know, that's where I'm at. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, so for those who haven't caught up on all of this, this is Goldwing, that's it there, by Jennifer Skeinz. The other thing I am going to do too, because this is me, you know, I have to make modifications. Modifications are in my DNA. I can't just write things as written. And this is the thing, because I view a pattern as a guide. So for me, it's a bit like a recipe. Sometimes things are left for interpretation, because that's just me. So the one thing, let me move over here, that I am doing, and I did this with Rambler as well. There's the schematic there, and you can see I've made a couple of little alterations on that schematic. The schematic, it is a tubular body. And yeah, I haven't been tubular for a very, very long time. I can tell you that right now. So I am doing an A-line body on mine. So what I have started doing already, so in order to do that, it's quite straightforward to do. So what I do is, the nice thing about this particular project, the start of the row marker is in the center of the underarm. So all I've gone and done is put a second halfway marker underneath the other underarm, and I'm just doing a set of very, very simple increases. Just a lifted increase, sort of in this, there's one stitch either side, and then I'm doing a lifted increase in between. So that means that I'm left with sort of like a double sort of set of stitching there, which will actually give me a nice little, like a hemline, a faux hem seam line as well, which I quite like too. So I'm doing that. And I'm at the moment just doing it every second round. I'm just doing an increase every second round, which is quite severe, but I'm actually wanting quite sort of an A-line swing element to this. I did my Rambler as a tunic, so I actually did it, I think, once every fourth round for the Rambler. With this, I'm actually making it more severe, because I probably won't go tunic length. I will go sweater length, but it will be a swing style sweater. I will also do it longer than what she has actually recommended. She's actually done hers to the sort of just below the waist to the top of the hip bone, so not quite cropped length, just a little bit longer. I'll be honest with you, that for me is probably the most unflattering length of a sweater known to man, because it sits right where I don't want the eye to fall. So I will be taking it a little bit longer, just to give me a little bit more of a flattering hemline across there. I've also chosen to do the rolled hem on this, as opposed to a rib, and I will probably do a rolled hem at the base, or I'm actually either rolled hem, or the other thing I'm seriously considering, depending on how much county I've got left, is one of my favorite things of all time to do, and I love it. I've done it on my Climb Every Mountain, is I'm really seriously considering doing a I-cord bind off in the county, so I have a rainbow bind off around the bottom. That's what I'm thinking I might do. And I may even actually do that on the sleeve as well. Since I've done the rolled hem here, instead of just having a rolled sleeve, I'll actually do an I-cord bind off on the sleeve, and then it will have the sleeve sitting nice and flat. Well, that's the plan at this stage, but you know what I'm like, plans change. But this is where I'm at. So as you can, I'm just really, really, really happy with it. If you're wondering about the county, where to get the county, I get mine from Yarns, which is yarn with the z.co.nz, and they are the New Zealand Stockists of County. And so, and I've actually had this county in my stash probably for almost 10 years. So I've had it for a good long time. It was time that it got used. It needed some love. But you don't have to do that. I mean, you could actually do that in quite solid stripes, like actually have stripes of colour if you wanted. But you could also just have single colours. Like if you really like the look of the red in that, I mean, I've done this in Sport with County Weight, which is County Sport Weight with South Inter Sport. But I've just, you know, if you love the look of the red or even the orange, you can actually just do that. I mean, this is snug, but cozy's that weight. You could do it in cozy. See, look at those. There's a lot of different varieties there that you can do. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this now. And I have to say, and actually I'm going to flip it inside out for everybody because someone asked me that the other day. And I'm gonna, now that I've got it all done, and I'm happy with my floats. I'll let you in on a little secret. I only tracked my floats once, and that's when it was an 8-stitch jump. And I did actually 9-stitch jump, and I tracked it 5 and 4, and that was like that for 2 rounds. And that was the only time I tracked my floats. Every other time I just let the floats go. Let's show you this side because that's a bit there. But this is the thing I love about these toothy yarns. So there you go. Those are my floats on the inside. Oh gosh, it's so funny. I put that close to the camera, it doesn't like it. But that's the floats there. I mean, you know, they're not quite Ethan Barclay Inu floats, which, you know, you could wear it completely reversible if it was his. But you know, for me, I am really happy with those. They're sitting beautifully with the yarn, nice and grippy. They're not going to go anywhere, and they'll totally settle once I give this a wash. I can already see already how this is going to settle really, really well with a wash. And this is one of the things, you know, like there's been a number of people that I've been chatting to online around this, and you know, they're saying, oh, you know, my tensioning isn't very good. And look, I mean, I don't do a lot of colour work. I'll be brutally honest with you. I mean, this is the first piece of colour work, the Rambler, which I did during lockdown, and now this, that I had done over a decade, more than a decade. Yeah, I mean, like I've done mosaic colour work, slip stitch colour work, but this is actually the first floated ferrule colour work that, yeah, I haven't done anything. I think I did a project for a niece or a baby, yeah, decade ago. So it's been a long time between drinks for me on the stranded colour work. It's not as hard as you might think. Like, it really isn't. But if you're wanting to sort of have a bit of a trial run before you launch into anything like this, this is great. I have to admit, in terms of a pattern to cut your teeth on, this one I have to admit is quite good, because the colour work, there isn't long big floats in between your colour work. You're only dealing with 2 colours and 2 strands, which is nice and easy. So you've got a dominant and a dominant colour, which you work across the top, and then the less dominant at the bottom, and then you sort of flip them over halfway. It's really, I mean, super straightforward, and it's quite good. I mean, in fact, I found this colour work much easier to work within the Rambler, because with the Rambler, so much of that was there was often 3 shades going at any given time, and the way the floats were, I actually tracked all of those all the way along as well, and I mean, honestly, it's only a shorter piece of colour work on the Rambler, and it felt like it took forever, whereas this felt like it took no time at all. So that's the difference between the two. But I do have a solution for you, that if you, and I bet you I have gone and left it in the other room. Oh, I have. Bothery bollocks. I have, or am I sitting on it? No, I've left it in the other room. Bothery bollocks. I have just, I posted up, I'll talk about it. I posted up this morning over on the Skeinz, on the main page, a new pattern by Bronwyn Carroll called Gazillion. She launched it on the weekend. It's a fantastic colour work hat. Really brilliant, simple slouch beanie. It's just, super cute. She's done it in 3 sizes. It's gorgeous. I purchased it this morning. And you know what? The thing I love about that is she's written it for a DK. Southlander DK is one of her recommended. And also Bandit DK would be perfect. The cover image is of charcoal and oatmeal by the look of it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Great contrast. That pattern, that hat, and that's why I grabbed it and I spotted it, because that hat is ideal if you haven't done any stranded colour work in the round, either at all or for a really long time, and you want to sort of get your sort of tension and your gauging and your flow back going. That hat is the perfect project to do to get yourself launched back into it again, so you can get started and give yourself a bit of confidence before you go launching into a full adult sized garment. So it's called the Gazillion hat. I'll make sure I pop it in the thread there. It's in Ravelry, or if someone wants to go and do that for me, I'd be greatly appreciated. And it's awesome. It's absolutely fantastic, and it really and she's got 20% off it until the end of today. So it was $4 US, so it was pretty good value as well. You could do it either in 2 colour, or she did have a 3 colour version. And that's the really neat thing. So it's great if you've got actually DK floating around, or like, for example, if you've got a Southlander, you know, I mean, they come in the DKs come in the big 200 gram balls. So if you've been working on a project and you've got a part ball of this left, this hat's a great way of using that up. Absolutely brilliant. And I mean, see, like you could do something natural like those two together would work. But see, look at these. Any of these Bandit shades, because they're spun to exactly the same weight as Southlander DK, they're completely interchangeable, which is brilliant, because the one thing that Deb is absolutely amazing with all her Bandit yarns, and what sets all these Bandit yarns apart, is the colours. She has a wonderful eye for colour. They're absolutely incredible, but it just gives you all these really great options. I mean, look at those there together, but I mean, any of those with white would look amazing in that hat, or you could do something natural like that. I do apologise that the stocks of After Big Ball Bonanza for Southlander DK are a little bit light at the moment, but that will always rectify. The other yarn that you can also add in as well is the Snug. So Snug is also spun to a 495 by 3. Very exciting, I know. But it just, again, expands your colour options, and it just gives you the opportunity to mix and match and know that everything, oh, bit of fluff in your mouth, everything will look okay. So the Gazillion hat by Bronwyn Carroll, do make sure you check that one out. And right, let's see what everyone's up to this morning. Oh gosh, I'm wobbling that. Apparently there was an earthquake just here before, like when I was getting set up, and I didn't feel it. And Claire said to me, did you feel it? Did you feel it? It's like, feel what? She says, the earthquake. And I went, no. I was in here setting up, and I said to the girls in the shop, I said, Claire says there was an earthquake. Did you feel it? No. But out the back, her and Damien definitely felt it. So apparently 4.2 here in Napier. So there you go. The things you do, things you do. Gosh, everyone's here this morning. Oh, there we go. Oh, Paul Bronwyn, Bronwyn's here and she's online and the video's not playing ball. Hopefully we'll play ball for you soon. Bronwyn, because we're just loving it. Okay. Oh, awesome. Fantastic. Someone has posted that link. Thank you, Suzanne. Just posted the Gazillion link up for everybody. Do go and check that out. It is a really great hat. And I'm sorry because I printed it out and everything and it's sitting on my desk. It's not very organised of me. Right, what else did I have to tell you? Oh, yes, right. While I was on a little jag talking about Outlaw, I have the wonderful Ethan. We all love Ethan. Ethan and I will probably catch up. What are we now this week? We'll probably catch up next week before I go away. But what I have had, I've given Ethan some homework for me because there are so many fantastic patterns out there. And I've set, and he has got his gorgeous Yeshu sweater, which is the 2 shaded sweater that he's got. It's just beautiful. And that's done on Little Bandit. And I said to him, you know what are your sort of top 5 patterns for Bandit yarns? So he has given me this incredible list of patterns for Bandit yarns, and I will be popping those out in the newsletters for everybody, just to give you some pattern inspiration ideas for Bandit yarns, because again, the colours are amazing, and colour is in at the moment. Everything is around the colour work, colour blocking, how to best use colour. And Ethan, I mean, he loves colour, absolutely loves it. We've shown you during Quarantine Diaries the Alaska sweater, which was something that he was working on, and he was working on that, I think, in Little Bandit. Just amazing, beautiful trees, gorgeous colour work. There's also, I think it's the Feather and Fan sweater, I know is a popular one that a number of people have done. There's a whole heap out there that you can do to give you that beautiful colour work effect, and in yarns that are really, really affordable. And the neat thing about Bandit, and as I said, Bandit and Southlander work hand in hand together, and also too, Little Bandit and Southland Sport, great friends. So it gives you the best of both worlds, that if there isn't a colour that you want in one range, you can always look over to the other and interdisperse between the two, and it just extends your options so much. And the value on those yarns are amazing. You know, they really do provide incredibly good value. So I am going to start posting up and letting you know some of Ethan's top tips. So do look out for those, because I think they're definitely worth checking out. He's currently working on Star Flanket at the moment, which is with Stephen West. It is amazing. It's a series of parallelograms into a star, and the colour blocking effect is amazing. He did his first one in, I want to say, Bohemia Worsted, and he's actually still doing the second one in Bohemia Worsted, but he's also done, I think, the Starflake shawl in Bandit as well. So it doesn't really matter, you can do it in either, but it's just these incredible blocks of colour. Stephen West has always made sure that he has a number of techniques on there, very intensely written pattern, and with video tutorials if you want to check those out. And Ethan is also, he's been doing a knit along with it over on the Outlaw Lair as well, that you can also check out. And so then if you're wanting to get stuck into a really big meaty project like that, you're able to do that and know that you've actually got support online, which I think is really important if you're wanting to do something, you know, quite chunky like that. So that is really great news. Speaking of chunky, we have after having loads of super chunkies on sale and special, we then all of a sudden there were none. We're starting to get our warm back in for those that have been waiting for warm. And I just note on the forward sheet coming out in the next 3 to 4 weeks, there are some warm colours on there. So that's great news. So they're starting to come back in. That's our 14 ply. However, Queen Bee, the last of the Queen Bee has been dyed up, and Deb has just done it into these 3 colours. And we have now got all of these in stock. So they're just going up online now. And they are the brass. Isn't that brass fantastic? Highlight and define. So highlight is cream and define is grey. And they're fantastic. You know, to be honest, these 3 are classic colours if you're wanting to do homewares and blankets. It's just, Queen Bee is brilliant. If you snapped some of the Queen Bee up on special that we had when she was moving out all the colours, it's so great to work with, super quick, super fun. And also for a blanket, you can whip up a blanket in no time at all. And these 3 colours are amazing. So we have now got those. They are full price, but if you're wanting to get, if you're wanting to do a really, really quick cowl, something like this sort of size, a single skein will do that. If you're looking to do a blanket, a small cot size blanket, you're probably looking at needing 6 to 8 of these for a cot size blanket. And if you want to do a bigger blanket, you're probably needing around 10. But you know what? The effect is incredible. And the other thing to remember with Queen Bee is actually this plied yarn. So it wears really, really well. Those big single woven yarns look really amazing editorially, but I can tell you from experience and from people that have actually used them, look fantastic, do not wear terribly well. This does give you a better chance to getting some good wear done. So those 3 are in stock. What else have I got to tell you? Oh gosh, I'm gonna have some coffee. I've been awake since 4 a.m. So it's menopause. It's driving me crazy. The things they don't tell you, this whole menopause insomnia thing, honestly, it drives me mad. But it's okay. I listen to podcasts, and I did think about knitting at that hour, but I wasn't quite up for knitting, you know, at that hour, but there you go. Right. Oh, there we go. Sandra was saying the Venetian blinds and Havelock were rattling. Oh, God. Okay. See, honestly, Sandra, I missed the whole thing. Hopeless. I know, hopeless. Anyway, I'd love to do the Goldwing, but the stitches of my colour work always look a bit uneven. See, now, Wendy, the thing is, if you look really closely on mine too, so do mine. I mean, this will block. A toothy yarn, though, this is why I've done it in Southlander, does help. It accentuates it if you're using a really smooth yarn, so particularly a shrink-treated yarn. I mean, if anything is remotely wiggly-womply, you will see it. Whereas a toothy yarn like this, I mean, if you were to put this, if I was to put this really close to the camera and the camera doesn't like it for some reason, I mean, they're not perfect, far from perfect, but they don't need to be. No, so I wouldn't, honestly, Wendy, I would get that Gazillion hat and have a little play around with that first and then give that a block and see how you go. I think you'll be surprised that it will be, you know, pretty good. So hold on, happy. Right. What else have I got on us? Naked. Oh. Oh, what have I got there? Oh, there we go. Piece of coffee. Naked Skeinz. If you haven't picked up Naked Skeinz, we've got Naked Skeinz at 20% off at the moment till the end of the month. So if you're planning any big projects, you want to have a play around and do some dyeing yourself at home, it's absolutely perfect. So they have been rocking and rolling out. So do make sure you pick those up and go and grab those. I think that's a really great idea. So those are still there. I apologise about Naked Machine Washable DK. I know loads of you have asked us for that. We're waiting for a new spin batch. So yeah, sorry about that. That's the only one that we have been out of stock. Everything else is there. And in the last video, I covered off the difference between twist on twist and high twist. In case you, now I'm vouching, in case you were wondering about that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to quickly talk about is I've actually finished something. Well, it's almost. I haven't put the tassels on, but I posted this up actually the other day. And this is a scarf that my son, I think I talked about it during Quarantine Diaries. He drew this for me. He's very, very specific about where he wanted the bits of colour. But he wanted a scarf that was long and reversible that he could wear. And he came into the store, he picked out the colours himself, told me exactly where he wanted the blue and the gold stripes. So I've just done him this broken rib scarf. I did it actually, this scarf is, if you go to my Revelry page, is actually in part of my patterns. It's called the Back to School Scarf. All it is an offset rib. And this is done 9mm needles. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because, I mean, it's lovely and stretchy. Look at that. Lovely and stretchy. Perfect for a scarf. Super fast to knit. I wanted something that wasn't going to take. Because, I mean, let's face it, when you knit scarves like these, and if you're just doing them in a DK, they can take forever. Whereas if you are doing it on a 9mm needle, it can be great. And what I've gone and done is this is all double-stranded. Because we didn't have, these are the colours that he wanted, I didn't have these in a chunky or super chunky yarn in the colours he wanted, I thought, I'll just double-strand them. Easy peasy. And as you can see, it's a fantastic fabric, lovely and soft. So that just got me thinking, because rugby season has kicked off again, or it could be football season, or it could be school sports season has now started to kick off, and you may be wanting to whip up some scarves for sports teams. This is a really great way of doing it. Now, this is in Pearl, and I've just gone and pulled out some examples in Pearl. So, like, I mean, this is Black Pearl, it's Utataki and Sea Silk in the regular Pearl. I mean, if you're an Otago supporter, that would be perfect, would it not? If you're a Blues supporter in Auckland, we've got that is Utataki, and this is just Orb and Polar. There we go. Perfect, perfect. I mean, this is Hurricanes country here. So there you go, Sea Silk and Barbosa from Black Pearl, ideal for that. And I mean, if you're in the Waikato, throw in a bit of red there, and then you've got the Chiefs. So if you're wanting to do a sports scarf, and I mean any of these, I mean I'm from Gisborne, so that's Gisborne Girls High School colours right there. If you're wanting to do some quick scarves for school projects or school scarves or your particular sports club, that is something that I would definitely recommend. Double stranding, 9mm needles. This is a free pattern on my RAV page, and then you can just throw the stripes in however you wish to support your local team. So if you're needing to do that, and it's a super quick knit. When you're double stranding, that thing just whizzes by, and it's such good TV knitting. So do check that out. And I just have noticed we've just had a couple of inquiries for people wanting certain colours for sports teams. Now, last but not least, I have finally, we've had such a faux pas with Nomad. One of the colours, Sahara, which has been available here in store. I did my cowl in one of the, in fact, that colour featured in both the samples that I've knitted for the shop. We forgot to send one of the colours to Steph, our photographer, for photography twice. We filled about 3 lots up and we kept forgetting to do it. I have actually photographed it this morning and put it up. I promise you, Steph, this will come up in the next batch. But it is now up and online. Now, Nomad, in case you haven't seen Nomad, Nomad is our camel polewith blend. It is divine. I have made 2 cowls, which I have been promising for 3 months that I'm going to get written up into a pattern. It really is divine. It's quite beautiful. It would be perfect for an ever after cowl, which this is my oversized one that I did over lockdown. It is super soft. You could totally wear it against the skin. In fact, I'm going to pop this out on the newsletter, and the image that I'm going to use in the newsletter is a work in progress at the moment from Solange Thompson over on the Speakeasy's beautiful cabled sweater that she's working on in this one here in the June, which is the natural. So that's actually the colour of the yarn undyed. It's this beautiful, literally soft camel colour. It's stunning. Until the end of the month, you can get this Nomad. It's normally $15.95 because camel is not a cheap fibre. It's a super luxury fibre, but we've dropped it down to $9.95 until the end of the month. We don't have massive stocks of this. So it's been ticking out quite nicely since it was launched in Unwind. But if you're really wanting to get your hands on this to potentially do the Gazillion hat, actually, those 2 in the Gazillion hat would look amazing, or even those 2 in the Gazillion hat would look amazing. If you you could go and grab that, or if you're wanting that, or even, the Goldwing. I mean, those for Goldwing. Incredible, absolutely incredible. So if you're wanting to actually treat yourself and get this really incredible yarn at $6 off a ball, I would definitely head over and do it now. So that's all been done. I've already reduced those prices down, and they are only until the end of the month. So that's on Nomad. I'm going to pop that out in a newsletter today, though, just to remind everybody. So yeah, so we thought we'd just do something for the end of the month that would be really lovely and special. And one of the things that I'd put off for the longest time, and in a way it's to say sorry for taking forever to put this one up, because people have been able to buy it down here and know what it is, and you haven't been able to get it online, which is just pretty jolly hopeless of me, to be perfectly fair. And that's about me, I think. Has anyone else got any questions for me? I've rabbited on a bit today. I'm sorry about that. Let's have a look. Oh yes, Bev is saying colour work definitely improves with blocking. You're so right, Bev, it does. Oh, do all the naked skeins have to be dyed? Asks Marilyn. No, they don't actually, Marilyn. Now they aren't bulked. Now all our yarns are either dyed or they're bulked. And what does that mean, you say, Maree? When a yarn comes off the spinning frame and goes into a reel, it's actually a bit skinny. It's a little bit, it hasn't had that sort of bulking and moisture in it back to it. So for example, this Nomad yarn here would be a prime example. Because this yarn here isn't dyed, what we have to do before we ball it is we actually steam this. It goes through a machine called the Superba, which is and I love it because it's spelled Super Bar, BA, Superbar. So it's called the Superba, but I just like the Superbar. And it's a steamer. and it looks like those hotel toasters where you stick toast in at one end and then it sort of chugs along, and then toast, bread in one end and then toast pops out at the other. It looks a bit like that, but it's for yarn. So it goes off onto this machine and it gets steamed and it pops out the other end. I have to admit, if they've been running the Superba, I have been known to put baby knits on there and block them, do instant steam blocking. I have been known to do that in the past. So back to naked skeins. So because they haven't been bulked, when you knit with them unbulk, they may feel just a bit skinny. So that depending on what you're knitting, that can affect your tension. Some people, particularly if they're knitting something and they're wanting a really firm tension, and especially if it's something like they're using that DK yarn, but they're wanting to actually get a 23 or maybe a 24 stitch tension as opposed to a 22 stitch tension, they actually prefer to knit with it unblocked, because then they can get that tension and then they will block it and it will just puff out, but stay quite rigid in its tension and hold its shape. So it's entirely up to you. You can either work it unblocked or blocked, or you can just literally wind it off into hanks and just soak them and then dry them and re-hank them back. So it's entirely up to you how you do it. I've seen people block after knitting. I've seen people block before knitting. But yes, if you get them and you think, Maree, this does not look how the normal yarn would look, that would be why. So that's the only thing I would let you know about that. Right. How many stitches on your cow? Oh, right. Okay, Susan, good question. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. So as you can see, it's long. So what I did with this is, I think it's actually just I think it's 160, but what I did with this one is no, it's not 160 actually, because it's got to be a multiple of 12. So it might be 156. It's 156, but it's on a much, much bigger needle than I would normally use. So normally I would do this cowl, and it's, I've actually done this cowl, I think, oh gosh, now you're putting me on, I think it's I think it is 156 usually, but it's usually done either on a 4mm or a 4.5mm. This was done on a 5.5mm, so it is quite a bit bigger. I did that because I felt like it, and because I had that was actually the yarn, the sort of multicolored yarn, the variegated yarn. That was the needle that was suggested for that yarn. The other greeny one in between is just a regular old DK. The pattern is Ever After Cowl, which is by moi. It's free on my web page. Yeah, but I have to admit, what I do like about this being this longest, because you can just do this with it and have it long, but the nice thing about it being this bit much longer is that I can double it over, which today proved to be quite useful because it was quite cold. Yes, and it also, by doubling it as well, you get to play with all this colour. The ball of the colour was I think it was called Melila by Cascade, and it was a great yarn, absolutely fantastic yarn. Loved it, and it was so much fun. So yeah, so that's what that was. What else? Oh, good morning. Heather is saying, good morning, would the steamer do much for Granny's wrinkles? Heather is a fantastic author of Granny McFlitter. I tell you what, Heather, some mornings I need it, and I tell you that the Superba is wonderful. It is honestly, it's the funnest machine. I've got some photos of it. I should put them back up again. I did them if you go back into our Instagram profile, well, it may even be on my Instagram profile actually, way back when. I've got some photos of the Superba. Actually no, it is. It's in the yarn kitchen. That's where it is. I have actually got some pictures of this, and you'll see it because it's got the name on there. Because I just think the name is so hilarious. Like, I love it, the Superba. Right, that's me. I'm going to I'm going to get that newsletter out today, and yeah, I'm going to put everything we've talked about here. And then on Thursday, I'll catch up with you with hopefully more progress on the Goldwing. I will have what will I have? I will hopefully have restocks by Thursday. Nothing's came in today because we had a big chunk, as you know, on Thursday. So I'll have hopefully more restocks for you on this coming Thursday. And yeah, we'll see what else we can drag out to chat about. So until then, I hope everything is nice and dry at your place and not shaking like it is here. And have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.